Happy Monday to you, sir.
Happy Monday. No cheers today, but we can imaginary cheers.
It is a wet, gray, stormy afternoon here.
Is it stormy though? I mean, it's just wet.
It's raining. I mean, it's not very stormy. Humid.
How would you classify storm? I would say there has to be thunder and lightning involved.
Oh, there was lightning outside.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
Good thing you're in that car when you're driving over, buddy.
Yeah. How are you, man? You doing all right?
I'm well. I'm tired, but it's the last week, the last push of hard training.
Nice. It's next Saturday, so it's
no, we're like 2 weeks away.
Okay,
we're a little less than 2 weeks away.
So you're still peaking.
The last hard training will be Saturday.
Okay.
So I'll go Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and then taper from then. And right now it's Friday of next week.
So athletically, your thoughts on this type of competing versus when you were in your tennis days, is it the same type of cycle where you're going hard, and then like you have to back off of a week to let your body truly recoup?
I didn't do that. I don't think you have to do it as much with tennis, because tennis is at least when I was as a kid playing junior tennis, a tennis tournament is comprised of multiple matches over a 2-day period, sometimes a 3-day period. Okay. And a match can be anywhere from an hour to 2.5, 3 hours long.
What?
Depending on.
I don't know anything about tennis, so
yeah,
is it like baseball?
Depending on how close it is and if it goes, right?
We're
like
playing
innings,
best
2 out of 3.
That sort of thing.
As a kid, you're playing best 2 out of 3 sets. So if those sets went long, you could be there. You know, if a set takes an hour, now the third set's 3 hours. So tennis, obviously, you've got 30 seconds between points. It's very much kind of an endurance thing. You're not. Yeah, there'll be. It's just you're not doing the. It's not a high intensity workout the way Jiu-Jitsu is. I'm not tugging at someone.
Yeah,
right?
It's not as.
It's much more akin to running a marathon, right? In a way. So.
Is it though, or is it more? Because I think of tennis as short little sprints that you just have to do for an extended period of time.
They don't. You're right, and there's a big emphasis on recovery with tennis, like how quickly can you recover between points.
Right.
But the energy output, even in an intense rally, is still under control. Like you cannot to hit the ball hard, just like a pitcher, right? Uh-huh. You can't be tense. You actually have to be relaxed to do it for biomechanically for you to hit the ball very hard. Just like a baseball pitcher to throw the ball 100 miles an hour. Sure, the guy's using a lot of muscles. He's driving with his legs, but he's not tense. You know, there's a fine line in terms of how you're engaging your muscles. Whereas with Jiu-Jitsu, I'm not saying it's not quite the same with Jiu-Jitsu, but there are many more moments, especially in a competitive situation where you're trying to deny points, where you're using all your strength and attributes in addition to your technique to deny someone, and you're grappling. There's a tugging there. Right. Imagine if you're shooting on a double and the guy's sprawling, like there's just effort being put out there.
Right.
So for me, it's more noticeable that you have to make sure your glycogen stores are loaded up, right? That your muscles are ready to go. So that's the one thing that I'm not preoccupied about, but that's the thing I have to keep my eyes on, because I have noticed that my energy output on a hard day can fluctuate depending on the carbs I'm eating, but I'm trying to make sure I'm at a certain weight. So there's that sort of thing. Definitely in the future, I think it's good. Given what I was walking around at, I had to go down a little bit. Mm-hmm. It only made sense, but I think the goal is to actually gain a few more pounds and then not worry about my weight and go at a slightly higher weight class.
Okay.
And then I can just basically be.
But that's your next competition.
That's the next competition. For this is.
Well, you'll be a little bit quicker. So you're saying for next competition you'll be a little quicker, a little less emaciated. Well, you're not emaciated right now by any means, but you won't be as drained cutting for the next one.
Yeah, and it's not as though I'm cutting per se. I just have to bring my weight down, because I'm basically right now I'm like 3 pounds off, which is what I want. Like I brought my weight down already a little bit. I even brought it down to where I need to be, which is like 164. I'm
That's
walking around at
interesting,
167 and a
though.
half.
I mean,
right
like
now.
you don't have a lot of body fat to lose in the first place. So when you're cutting, I mean, like it takes a while to put on muscle. It also takes a while to lose muscle. Where exactly? So it's got to be water and balancing your salt.
I think some of it is I probably am dehydrating myself a little bit.
Okay.
And I do think there's just a couple pounds of love handles, you know.
Hang on.
No. I do. No, I honestly mean it. There's some places where there is a little fat there that I dry out a little bit.
I hear the brain contains a certain amount of...
maybe that's going on there.
Let's be careful with that.
So
then,
basically,
you know?
what the strategy that worked for me last week when I wanted to see if I could drop down, and then I felt like, okay, I dropped down, but I don't want to be training and feel like this all the time, is basically do intermittent fasting.
Okay.
So just shrink my eating window a little bit. So I'm going a little. I'm going into ketosis like overnight a little bit.
Okay.
And just dropping my carbs a little bit. And I'm not eliminating carbs.
Okay.
I'm just going a longer period of time without eating.
Thing?
Are
you doing slow carbs?
I don't know anything, but I need carbs. Like I'm a guy that needs carbs. So that's kind of what I'm going with that. And then, I'll have, at least 5 days to kind of ramp the energy level up while keeping the,
Are you going to come in and just drill those days and kind of...
I want to keep the same schedule. Unless Paul tells me to do something otherwise, I want to keep my same schedule. I want to be around it. I want to, So I'll probably just... My idea is just drill with the, do the technique and then watch, and chill and maybe grab Victor and just go through some movements that I want to do. But very flowy, no muscle contraction. Parada. And then just be ready to explode when...
Nice.
When I step on the mats. So
that's excellent.
That's kind of the idea. So the big kind of realization I had this past week was my approach to pulling guard. Mm-hmm. So I don't have wrestling experience. Mm-hmm. I'm not a good wrestler. The likelihood, if you were to, there's a good chance that if you compare me to the other competitors, I'd probably be in the lower third, pretty comfortable. I have no question saying I'd be in the lower third in terms of wrestling ability, probably. Although I do know a lot of jiu-jitsu people don't do wrestling either. So it's, but I'm sure there are going to be people that do it better, have judo that's better. So I'm not going to just concede and go to a guard pull. That's not what I'm saying. But what I did realize late last week, and it was talking with Paul and stuff, is there's a difference between just pulling guard and then pulling guard with a purpose to attack.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of the realization I had, and it made a big difference because if I was pulling and settling. Yeah. Which, what's the, I mean, it's not bad, but there's a difference saying, hey, I have advantageous grips. Let me pull and let me immediately attack something. Right. And if I fail, then I'm going to settle anyway. But it made a huge difference because I was able to, get a guard pull, continue to do
because they're still off balance at that point too, right? Like you need to use that the kazushi.
If you want to sweep someone, you got to do it when during transitions. Yeah, and that's a transition.
It's that the game within the game.
Yeah,
that's
so
a big part of it,
that's as good of an opportunity as any to attack. Right, and I'm sure there are bad scenarios where you do that and the guy somehow passes, but more often than not, I've found in my experience that as long as I'm attacking, they're kind of defending. So that's kind of my big thing is just always be attacking.
There you go.
So we'll see. That's kind of the mindset.
Very Gordon Ryan. Systematically attacking everything. Right?
We'll see. It doesn't always work, but
no, that's awesome, man. Good.
That's kind of where we are. So we'll try to apply that and keep the energy level up. And
you get enough sleep?
Yeah, sleep's not an issue.
Really?
No,
Okay.
I sleep well. No, it's just 2 times a day, and
you sleep twice a day?
No. Training twice a day.
Oh, it's like what are you?
I might take a nap in the middle of the day.
Okay, I'm like, I mean, we're all multiphasic sleepers or polyphasic sleepers.
So that's kind of
try to do the Einstein sleep sometime, or the.
I'm just
Polyphasic sleeping.
I want
where
to
it's
sleep like 20 minutes 20 minutes every 3 hours.
Yeah,
or
it's like 1
something.
hour every third hour or whatever the case is.
Oh,
however that
jeez.
goes. So
That was on an episode of Seinfeld, actually.
Was it really?
And one of the characters just fell asleep.
like, it's just like unless the world functions the way you do, it doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just disappear unless you're doing some sort of like lab studying on your own. But it's awesome though. I'm glad that you are approaching this professionally. To be honest, I'm not sure that many people.
It's the only way I'm
could say
going to
the
be.
same.
I mean, I think there are ways to do this more professionally, but it's
more professionally.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I'm just coming in here and doing what my coach says to do, basically.
Right. I mean, which is what.
But it's the only way that will take away any nerves. Like
Sure.
anytime I have a hard training, it's like any nervousness I might have just disappears.
Yeah.
Because if you train hard, then whatever happens on game day happens. But I put the work in. What you don't want is to go in there and feel like you're not prepared, you underprepared, you were lazy, you cut corners, and then that kind of eats away with you when you're on the mat.
That's kind of what like Schwarzenegger says. He's like, on the day of competition, like I'm not looking at myself, I'm looking at everybody else, right? Because like they're the ones I got to worry about. As long as I know that I've done the hard work, then there's nothing.
You win it on the training mats, the practice field. All those kind of cheesy analogies hold true. Yeah. So
that's awesome though.
That's kind of where things are at. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting through the week. Let the batteries recharge, and then go out because I'm.
So have you started watching tape of the guys in your brackets?
Absolutely not, man.
No, come on,
I'm
man.
I'm not doing that.
We can start Tanya Harding everybody right now.
I'm not. I'm not.
Just say the
doing
word,
that.
man.
I'm not doing that. I have been watching just matches, IBJJF matches, just to see.
Like strategically.
Yeah,
like,
just how people score and how matches go and that does help. I also I know when I feel good and I know when I feel like I didn't get the most out of that role.
Yeah.
And I think the end result is going to look the same as what you see, but it's not necessarily like what I see with what was it? I don't know. It was like Marcelo and someone or Lucas. I think it was Marcelo and Lucas No, it was Marcelo and Lucas Leite.
Okay.
Like I'd watch that match, or I'd watch JT Torres and Lepre, and I look at those guys, and there's a lot of what I would call downtime, where they're not just like going all over the place. It's not scrambling.
Inside.
I mean, there's a guy in a guard. They're checking their grips. They're adjusting their grips. The one guy on top's trying not to be swept, and it looks very methodical. You look at that and you think, well, they're kind of resting, but for me to perform,
they're definitely not resting.
They're not resting
because they would get
That's
swept
the
if they
thing.
were resting. Right?
There's a constant focus on the minute they get the grip that they want, they're going to go.
Yeah.
It's just they're not getting the grip yet. You know what I mean? Because the other person's actively denying it. So I've noticed there's certain positions where I think I could do a better job of attacking and not just hanging out. And those are my points of emphasis. Is go into those positions, but don't hang out there. Like I have to go. And one in particular is like quarter guard, where I'll just kind of sit in quarter guard, and I just need to go.
Just whip one way or the other, right?
I need to go. I don't have their heel yet, but I'll just sit there and I know like I can't just make something happen out of nothing, but I can bump. I can try and get the underhook and stuff. So there's certain situations where I feel like if I just keep moving, that's probably the better version of me competing. So that's where things are at.
Cool.
But yeah, everyone's been super supportive. Everyone's asked me, where can we see it?
Yeah,
I'm like
with the Flow Grappling account, you can probably see it live, right?
I don't know, man. This is the last thing I'm worried about.
Is that stuff played? I assume it's played live, right? Like
Kali's convinced that it's on that
It'll be
Flow
on
Grappling does all the mats, and you can choose what mat to watch. In theory, so.
Disney Plus already got my money, so maybe
Disney Plus
maybe Flow Grappling.
But Flow Grappling is like $30 a month.
I mean, I'll just pay a year in advance to save the $10 a month, whatever it is. It's like ESPN Plus got me too, so I was like,
Yeah, but you can do Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney for like $12.
so I fucked up, right? Like,
Oh God.
when Disney Plus first came out, like there was this deal where it's like you get 3 years if you pay for like a year and like a quarter up front. So I'm like, whatever, man. I've got a fucking 2-year-old kid. I'll just pay up front. Like, this kid's gonna be watching Aladdin and shit until I'm fucking blue in the face, right? So I ponied up like $160 and just paid for it up front. Now I've got 2.5 more years of Disney Plus on the dock, which disallowed me from getting any bundle deals for ESPN. So I fucked up kind of. I don't need Hulu anyway. Like, you know, like.
Well, what's weird is they did a poor job. I looked into it because we have Hulu, and we have Hulu without the ads.
Oh,
so I was
like, calm down, Uncle Moneybags.
Yeah. So the package was Hulu with ads. So if you so I asked
you're paying to have ads?
No. No, but I didn't. We never got that package.
Okay,
we continued to use Hulu.
Gotcha.
But my question was, I looked online, like, how can I? Everyone said, oh, if you have an existing Hulu account, then
yeah.
But if you have an existing Hulu account without ads, paying I think $12 a month instead of $6 or $8,
it's like $5.
Then you can't. What they end up doing is you subscribe to the package, keep the other Hulu account open, and then they somehow give you some little credit on your.
Oh, I see.
So it's a real cluster. It's not just like
this is too many options, man.
It's not just like $5. Because what was it, like $5 a month or $5.99 a month?
Yeah, it was like super cheap.
It was super cheap. So $6 a month. It's not like it was $6 a month plus $4 if you're doing Hulu without ads. That's all they needed to do. Something like that. Nope. You gotta keep that account.
Like,
you have to use another email. You have to put in different.
Like, and that's why I don't want to mess with it, right? Like, because I pay for the Disney Plus thing, right? That's money gone out the window, and then I get Hulu with ads for free because I'm a Sprint customer. So I'm like, I'm not going to pay for. I mean, I don't watch enough TV for ads.
Do you
to
get
matter
that
much.
even on your at home, or do you have to do it when you're on?
No, not on the Sprint. I can do it at home. I have it on all my Fire TVs and stuff. Yeah. See, so I'm not going to spend money to avoid 30 seconds of interruption. I don't care that much, you know. So I mean, and then I was like, and then Ryan LaFrance gave me some shit about like fights and stuff, and he's like what capitalism fights? And this and that, and I was like, all right, fine.
But what do you mean fights? Like UFC fights?
Yeah, and watching fights.
Gotcha.
So I was like, all right. So I just paid for like ESPN up front too for a year, and that was like what, $40 or
$50.
It's something cheap. So I'm like, whatever. So in the end, they got me for a little bit, but it's still fine. I still got to watch the
one step closer to that point where Disney just has a single icon.
Oh, dude!
To everything that you ever wanted.
Oh, dude! I mean, yeah, and it's they're already. I don't know if you have Disney Plus, but like they know exactly how to like rope you in. It's funny because I oh god.
Did you watch the new Mulan?
No, I ain't gonna pay money for that. Fuck that, man. I've never seen the original.
Oh,
Mulan.
You're right. You have to pay. It was like you had to rent it.
I ain't paying for something.
You're right. They didn't give it away for free. My bad.
And I've never seen the original Mulan anyway, so it don't matter to me. Like,
you can watch the original Mulan. For
I know,
free.
but it's first off, I watch everything in series. So even if it's a 2-hour movie, it'll take me fucking a week and a half to watch it at 15 minutes a night. But so like it's funny because like Disney Plus, they got their shit like good, like the organization and stuff. Like they know people really signed up for Disney Plus for Marvel shit, Pixar shit, old Disney shit, and National Geographic. So like the first thing you get on there.
Oh, they have Nat Geo on there.
Nat Geo, yeah. That's actually badass. Like Connor watches more of that shit than he does actual.
Yeah, man, that's like the best like little kid educational stuff.
Oh, dude, it's great, man. Like he knows more about panda bears than I've ever learned in my entire existence. But yeah, they got me, assholes. They own media. So
wait until Disney.
Dude, they have the Wolverine on there, which is crazy.
What do you mean the Wolverine?
The Wolverine, the one where Jackman goes to Japan and he gets nuked and shit. Like, oh my god! I'm like, how did they have this on here? Wow. But it's Disney owns Fox, so
wait until they buy Flow Grappling, then you'll be like, take all my money.
Oh my god! Like when, well, I mean, okay, did we ever think that MMA was gonna be on ESPN? right? Like for the longest time,
You're
it's
actually right.
human
Like 10
cockfighting.
years ago, you wouldn't have thought that, but now it became. I mean, remember when they got a Bud Light sponsorship? Like that was huge.
Oh, dude, yeah. Remember
It was
before it was like Mickey's, and then like Miller Lite came along first, and then Bud Light.
And a Harley Davidson
Yeah,
sponsor.
like
once like more mainstream companies that are careful with their image,
Yeah,
you know,
like-
because before it was
It's human cockfighting. How can we associate
and
ourselves?
Rockstar Energy was the
I think Rockstar Energy. No, Monster is still the
Monster,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. So
I remember it was like back in the day it was like Chuck Liddell would be wearing like Muscle Farm.
well, Muscle Farm's still around.
No, I know they're still around, but I mean you're talking about the size of comparing that to Bud Light.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
And what's the like? Where do you think the MMA community is, or the fighters are with when it comes to the Reebok sponsorship versus?
Well, that's
the
gonna
old
end.
school?
Did you see that?
Yeah,
Reebok's over. Venom is taking over. VENUM.
That's so weird that Venom's taking over.
I mean, like
I didn't know they had the money to compete with that. Like, do you think they're paying him the same amount that Reebok was paying him?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. Venom. It's actually a Brazilian company, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know enough about it. I know I know that when it comes to MMA gear and like jiu-jitsu stuff, I would say that Venom is a good solid like, let's call 93 brand like Walmart.
Okay.
Right? I would say like Venom's like Target. It's like above it, you know. It's
Or
like
the
it's Target.
Target.
It's a good like it's a good value for what you're getting, and it's not like, you know, windy boxing gloves or anything.
I'll
but
say
it's good
that.
enough.
I mean, I hate to say this, but I have not had good success with Venom gear. Like
I've
I
had
bought
decent success.
3 pairs of spats. 2 got like seam tears almost immediately.
Really?
I had to return one.
Is that like too much badonkadonk? You been do too many of them squats?
No, it was. It just felt like it was not.
So we have Jamie.
the quality
we
of
have our own
manufacturing.
Jamie. Venom is a French company.
It's a French company.
Venom.
Venom. Le Venom.
Le Venom. So shout out if you want me. Hey, Noah hates your stuff. Noah hates your stuff, but Chris Wu loves it. So send it my way.
The Francophile.
I have 2 of their gis. Awesome. I've never had their boxing gloves, but I have a pair of their shin guards. They're good. So
Look, you're
hey. my soul's cut up and I got nothing to worry about.
So, are you low key changing subjects again? And this is again not jiu-jitsu at all.
Yeah.
But are you low key like a hardcore Yelper?
No. So Stacy is.
Oh.
So So Stacy is, right? So here's the thing, right?
Because when here's what comes. I've seen multiple times where you and Stacey will have a date night.
Yep.
And it looks like you guys
It's curated, right?
Yeah, it's very curated.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got pictures of each course, each place,
So
and then
that's just it,
hashtag
right?
Yelpers. And I'm like,
Oh,
are
yeah.
you low key like?
No. So Stacy's like, she's pretty big. Like that's actually how I kind of quasi know Orlando Food Critic. Right?
Our resident Orlando food critic.
Yeah, because like
Shout out
I'm like,
to
bro,
the
I
Orlando
know,
food
I
critic.
know you from somewhere, right? But so Stacy was originally the one involved, and I would just go along. And Stacy's like the girl who, I mean, she's like straight A student, like super good at like getting scholarships and whatnot. And like what happens with scholarships, a lot of times like they're out there and people just don't know to look for them, right? So she's like she's captain fucking apply for everything, right? More spaghetti, more chances to win money. So she's good about like just signing up, just applying. And so like Yelp was like a relatively new thing in Orlando, and actually one of the first Yelp events in Orlando was at Oblivion Tap Room, which is, you know, rest in peace, one of the original sort of like gastropub places here. And so I went along because it was like a +1 event that she got into this like event for Yelp. And ever since then, like she found out about, there's Yelp Elite, and like there are like certain perks that you get with being Yelp Elite as long as you produce enough content for them, right? That's what Yelpers are. You're producing content for a website basically, but free content. And the elites are the ones who are a little bit more involved and kind of moderate content and provide content. So
Seems like they've got their own little Foursquare going on. Remember Foursquare?
that's I know of it, but I think this is like the second Foursquare, right?
Gotcha.
Like it's the second iteration because that's gone by the wayside at this point, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't around writing reviews as much. I think it was just
It was just checking. It was more of
Checking
just like a true
in,
social
yeah.
network, right? But so this
and the businesses deciding to give the people that had social influence perks at their establishments, so those guys would hopefully bring
Yeah,
people.
so
in
that's
as a
the-
result. Anyway. That's
yeah.
side point.
But so Stacy got involved with that. She became a Yelp elite, and like I was like, if she's always gonna get +1 and tag me along, and I've got a decent enough personality where I just sort of like befriending people along the way.
But as with that title, does that come with any privileges outside?
Oh
of-
yeah, like so.
Like, does she get like privileges at the restaurant, not privileges with Yelp?
No, because like she's not pretentious enough to do that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that people don't do that, but
But they're doing it all of their own accord.
yeah, exactly.
It's
but
not
I mean,
like
she's
business that says, "Hey, if you're this, if you're an elite Yelper, then."
But what business will do is they do have like kickoff event, like multiple kickoff events every season. Like they do to kick off the year, close out the year. Like this is a big party at the Orlando Science Center and stuff. And for like Magical Dining Month for Orlando, they used to do. They didn't this year for COVID reasons, but like something where they would do a big party / fundraiser, and like all of the vendors who partake in Magical Dining would do a sample menu that you get to try out, and that, just cool things like that, right? Like those are just fun little perks. So Stacy was just good enough to, she's captain administration of just being in good and staying in good graces with the Yelp Elite, and Chris smiles a lot and takes a lot of photos and gets to hop along for the ride.
So I have a brilliant idea for you, Chris.
Do one for the gym.
You need to be the Jiu-Jitsu Yelper. You need to drop into every
That's a
gym
really
you
good
can
idea.
find and Yelp the
You and I
shit
could
out of them.
be. You and I could be the Jiu-Jitsu Yelpers.
Oh boy. Goodbye, BJJ and Brews. Hello, the BJJ Yelpers.
Yelp Elite. yeah. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. That would be fun. I mean, like if I could even find the
We
time.
can even
to-
rate like open mat sessions.
Did they clean the mats before and after, or did they not clean the mats before and after? That would be fun. I wish I had the time to do that, but reasons. So
That's why we got to get sponsorship.
that is why we guys this whole working thing I can do without that. So, but yeah. So to answer your original question, I'm a low key Yelper. She is not a low key Yelper.
Gotcha.
She's already.
She was
in.
the one. It's her initiative. And
Oh
you-
yeah. I'm
okay.
just and like it just so happens that she won some sort of thing where we had gift certificates to that
All right.
place.
So let me then ask you an imaginary question, but let's bring it back to jiu-jitsu on a similar note. Imagine you're a single bachelor, Chris.
Yeah.
No relationship commitments. Would the idea of doing a jiu-jitsu road trip in like one of those, I don't know, you could do it in a car, you could do it in a van, you could stay with people. However, that doesn't matter to me. Doing a jiu-jitsu road trip for a year, a couple years, would that interest you?
So fun.
That sounds appealing to you?
That'd be so fun. Yeah. Like
Just go, spend a couple weeks in different places. Go to 10th Planet with Eddie Bravo over there.
And even like I mean,
go to SPG in
we kind of
Portland.
talked about that in our whichever was it Victor's Purple Belt podcast, like just to visit all the different, like the opportunity that you had to pick the brains of the folks up in Maine, that gym that you've visited on episode 2. Like that's awesome. Like how do you, like to see the true innovation and thought processes that go through the different minds of all the different coaches out there, just to see the different environments and vibes from gyms too. I think we have a very unique vibe here that I think when people get a taste of it, they really fall into it, and how, like, for example, at work, I've got a guy. It's funny how I don't really have all that bad of cauliflower ear, but it gets a lot of attention, and just the amount of conversations and people who are much more willing to talk to me now. Not willing to, but just talk more than just about like work and them being a customer and that sort of thing. about just purely jiu-jitsu, and like when they find out I'm now a black belt and blah blah blah, and I've been doing it for however long. Just the amount of rapport you build with people, and like, oh, have you trained here? Do you know this guy? And hey, I'm looking for my daughter's doing this. She's at this gym. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe you think about what do you think about this?
That's
gym?
crazy that it's so common, because I feel like 15 years ago it would be more like, you wrestle, you fight, bro. Like the fact that they're talking about jiu-jitsu beyond just like, well, what is it? I'm sure you get some of that,
right,
but you've just cited like, oh, like, do you know this person in this gym? Like, like jiu-jitsu is becoming more mainstream, more whether people know of it more. More people know of it. Do they know what it is? No, but because
they
the
definitely
UFC,
know. They may think I'm a fighter. Like
exactly.
That's what happens.
They might not have the right image in their mind, but they know the term jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu.
So if you said that 20 years ago,
they would think you'd be like, do karate hands. Judo, karate.
Yeah.
Like it'd be nonsense. So, it's amazing the doors it opens. Like hell, even like one of my customers, one of my friend customers, like he and I were sitting. One of the first lunches we had together, we were sitting there chatting about. He's like, "Oh, you do this," and I was like, "Hey, my brother does this. What are your thoughts on that and stuff?" And it was like one of them weird like cult martial arts. So like it's amazing just the amount of conversation that we struck from somebody simply looking at your ears. And even actually with my coworker Steven, I often forget I have cauliflower ears, and I don't think it looks that bad, but I guess it's enough where people will notice it. But he's like, yeah, I knew you did something. I was like, really? Like
the guys out there are all taking notes, saying, "Oh, I know how to attract attention at the bar now."
I guess so.
And they're
going to punch your ear.
They're going to start punching their they're going to start taking pairs of pliers and twisting their ears all over the place.
All you have to do for your right ear is just have a 240-pound, 6'6" Australian left hook it, and that'll do some good damage. And,
so you got it from striking, not from jiu-jitsu?
My right ear I got from striking.
Oh.
My left ear I got, obviously it's from grappling, but I think it was just me just being silly and trying to wrench my head out of shit.
Dude, I'm telling you, these last 3 weeks with the hard training, I feel like I'm very, like, my ears are dodging bullets.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
You'll know, though, man, like when...
No, I already noticed. Like, I actually talked to Victor. It's like I do actually have cauliflower ear. It's just not that noticeable.
Yeah. Like you feel like little little peas, right? Like.
Well, right now I don't have one that's active. But it's like if you look at one side of my ear, if you compare two ears, you'll see it's like it looks like an ear. It doesn't, but it's actually thicker in an area, and it's like, oh yeah, I low-key had it.
That's a calcified tissue, my friend.
Exactly.
Welcome to the club. See, I'm married. She's locked, so she ain't. It's funny though because like the other day, but
hard training introduces your head more. Like
hell
yeah,
it does.
Once it's hard training, it's like I'm putting my head in front of everything, and I can just see. And honestly, it's the gi more than anything. I think if you're doing no gi,
really,
yeah, absolutely.
No, people aren't headlocking you nearly as much. Are you trying to fight yourself out of like loop chokes and shit?
No, I think what ends up happening, I feel like there's a lot of rubbing with that gi. I think with no gi, you slip. Before, there's a chance you're going to go at someone that's going to club the fuck out of you. They're going to collar tie you and just keep clubbing you. Yeah, I get that. But it's I find in the gi that increased friction keeps your ear sometimes under pressure, where in no gi it would just squirt out.
Fair enough.
That's my feeling.
Fair enough. So actually,
but then maybe no gi is because I do more leg locks, so I'm not sticking my
head.
Head.
You're like
Where in gi, I'm
give
like
me that angle.
passing with my, I'm like getting grips, sticking my head right in the, and going.
So let me ask you then. It just occurred to me. You just mentioned gi and no gi. Are you doing no gi as well?
It does not exist at PANS. It's a gi only tournament.
Oh, okay. This is. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why they have no gi worlds.
Is that no gi worlds? And is this is okay? This is PANS.
Mm-hmm.
PANS is different than Mundials.
Mundials is the one in Brazil.
That's like the.
Well, actually, excuse me. Mundials is
but it means
is
world,
world,
right? Like
the Brasileiro is the Brazilian one. So my
Pan American means the large America or all of America.
Yeah.
So it's South America, Central America, North America.
All it is a tournament that they hold in America.
But
anybody can go and compete.
Okay, so
it's open to everyone.
It's open to everybody. Oh, yeah. So it's like Keenan going to like
He went to
European.
Euros, like everyone goes to Europe.
I
Yeah,
gotcha. All right.
it's just a major tournament held in a different site.
Okay. And,
But
there's
if you
no
do-
nogi.
No. Now, but if you do like, you'll see a lot of opens might have a nogi as well.
Okay.
So, for example, I think
this
Orlando
circuit
had.
shit is like, it's such a cash grab, right?
If you actually look at the IBJJF website, they will actually have 2 events. One will be the Orlando Nogi Open and the Orlando Open. It won't be just one event. where you can
Really?
say- yeah. So that's kind of how.
And it's on this like same day and everything.
Same day, yeah.
But they call it 2 separate things.
Yeah, they're 2 separate events.
That's such
because
a-
I think they have points for both. I think for
Oh,
them,
I see,
right? It's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
Nogi Tour and the Gi Tour.
Yeah.
So it's like if you win a Nogi match, that doesn't translate to your Gi ranking.
This whole point, like the crazy circuit, like points thing, is so interesting to me. Like I always thought it was sort of a, and it's funny because like the same shit happened in like traditional martial arts, like there's like forms and there's like sparring and stuff, right? And then like if you get in the circuit, like you know who would
It's
know
funny
all
when
of
you
this?
said forms, I immediately thought of like forms you fill out like paper. I'd
no,
forgotten
like,
about
not like, yeah.
martial arts forms.
Well, I think
Like,
I mean
had
I
one
say
with the
forms,
water,
but I think the actual
earth,
term
water,
is
fire,
gas, but,
air,
Yeah, that
the elements.
but like, so that's a is that a normal thing within like earning like points like that? Like, is there an equivalent to that in like tennis as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's very much tennis. I think is more mature because it's been around longer.
Yeah.
But they have different tiers of tournaments, and the lowest tiers tournaments have little to no entrance requirement.
Yeah.
And they also have the lowest. You'll win the fewest points, but as you acquire points, it'll unlock your ability to enter in higher tournaments.
Huh.
So it's very much like a video game. Like if you think of
that's
video
so yeah. I was
oh
saying,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's-
Video games didn't invent this. Like this has been around for a while.
So this is all. It's ultimately though.
That's why the PANS is so unique because of COVID. They have
Because
no
they-
entry.
yeah,
So
alright.
it's essentially an open.
So are you?
That's why they call
now-
them opens. The Orlando Open. It's open
It's
to
to
the
everybody.
public. So those are the places where you're supposed to go initially, win points, and then if you have enough points, then you're able to enter in a major tournament that has a requirement.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
By the way, they just had an open in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And Rafael Lovato Jr. dominated.
Oh, imagine that. His hometown.
He came, and actually, he showed up. He won his category. There are 4 guys in his category at heavyweight. There was a super heavyweight. This guy who's really good. I don't know his name off. Victor Hugo. This guy's really good.
Isn't that a?
Oh, maybe
It's like a. Isn't that a?
yeah,
like a
it's
philosopher.
or a character.
It's also Yeah, Victor Hugo's a Batman villain, isn't he? Like.
I want to say that. Anyway, he trains with Drysdale in Las Vegas.
Okay.
He's really good, and he's
I mean,
had some
yeah,
big
I
ones.
mean, with a name like
Anyway,
Victor Hugo, you'd be
he
a fucking
entered black
badass.
belt super heavy. Nobody was there, and
So
then he did opens, and of course him and Lovato in the finals. I think he just defaults to him.
Where are you watching all this? Are you watching?
No, it just popped on my Instagram feed because
Oh,
Lovato was
right,
going
right,
crazy.
yeah.
He was like, I won my match, my bracket, then I won open, and then the team won. The team like dominated. Like he got everyone to sign up
Well,
for this
of
tournament.
course, because he's right. Like, so that's
The
an interesting
local.
thing. Like the whole team thing. Like, if you, it's just like
I just
it's more
Lovato
spaghetti, right?
I know he's your spirit animal. You just love the way
Is
he
he, though?
talks. No,
No,
you,
I was
you
like,
just
I
hate
like
the way he
he's
talks. It's like, yeah, man, he's my brother. And
I was about to say, like, how many times did he mention his brothers and samurais and shit? That's.
but more power to
I
him.
do respect him as a competitor, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
an amazing,
absolutely. No, he's awesome.
amazing instructor.
So more power to him for that. So they did that, and
But the character of Lovato Jr. I could do without. Like so melodramatic. Like it's just jiu-jitsu, man. Like that's what I try to tell people. Like it's so funny. Like I was
going into battle.
yeah, like
you
all those
know,
like
going
I was
to battle.
so quick shout out to Origin. I gave in because Stacey and I are going up.
You
to,
got the masks.
I did. I got a mask by the way, or 2 masks. So we.
That thing looked huge.
What are you trying to say about my face? What are you
Maybe
trying
you
to
got
say,
a big
man?
chin. You look like American
Jesus
Dad if he was
Christ,
Asian or
man.
something. The Asian
Do I look like
American Dad?
the American Dad or what's his Mr. Incredible?
Oh yeah.
Like just but I did buy the mask. So because I found out you can't wear neck gaiters on Allegiant flights. And that's what we're flying on.
What?
Yeah.
I was on Allegiant like 2 weeks ago and I wore a neck
Dude,
gaiter.
Stacy forwarded me the damn. Maybe they just don't want to deal with lawsuits or something, or they don't want to deal with some wacko going ape shit because they won't let them.
When was that? When did she? When did she?
It was probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and that's why
when
I'm
they
like
announced it.
Well, she forwarded me an email because like maybe some updated thing. I don't know.
Interesting. I mean, I think the neck gaiter. I like the neck gaiters because I just find them comfortable.
Yeah, it's. I mean. Yeah, it's just a T-shirt.
So what's their what's
it's in concordance with CDC guidelines, where it has to tie behind the ears or secure behind the yeah. Like it has to be not like single weave cloth and that sort of thing. So that's why
okay. This is all news to me, so I don't.
I mean, maybe they just weren't enforcing it. Looking at you, Allegiant.
No, I didn't have an issue.
If that's the case, then I can't return this mask. God damn it! But I mean, I'll wear my gaiter if they allow me to. I'll have it with me just because if I'm just fucking walking around Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, I don't want to wear that fucking Origin mask.
Interesting.
But it's super comfortable, and so either way, like, have you ever been on like Origin's website?
Oh yeah.
So it's like, first off, not a knock on their gear. It's super quality, but goddamn, man.
Have you seen The Burden?
Their ad, the fucking kettlebell thing,
the leather kettlebell that you fill up
with sand. They're shot. Have you seen their new like club bells?
No.
They're actually kind of cool. Like they're like modular, and you can like twist on these like little additional weights and stuff. But like, man, like I was just looking back to, I bought that one rash guard they have of like the George Washington riding on a snake.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that's just, it's so ridiculous. It reminds me of like those Abraham Lincoln with a machine gun riding like a horse shirts. You know,
what was that movie with Abraham King, like vampires?
Abraham Lincoln Vampire. It's a great book.
It's a great.
Dude, amazing book. Have you not read it?
No.
I probably learned more about Abraham Lincoln because keep in mind, like,
wait, there's like, this is historical.
Dude, they take his life and they're like, they weave in all of the stuff about how, like, it's so good. It was basically like slave traders were all vampires that were like using like slaves to like harvest their blood.
This sounds like an internet conspiracy theory.
No, I mean, but
like,
that's just
on,
it. But okay, so maybe I'm not saying it's real.
So you're saying this is what
it's historical fiction.
This is what
they took Abraham Lincoln's.
This is what conspiracy theories look like back in the day when you didn't have the internet. You wrote books.
This is all they did was they took his autobiography or his biography.
So they took his history and then they weaved in
the idea of yes. They're not saying it's.
They're not claiming it's reality.
Exactly, okay. But amazing book, and like I said, I learned more about Abraham Lincoln just reading that book than I did in all through school.
So watching the movie's better than watching Van Helsing?
Oh, man, that was such garbage. God, the CGI in that was so bad. Hugh Jackman, they're like, who can we get?
Wasn't there like a Hansel and Gretel with like with Matt Damon Grimm. And somebody?
No, that was Brothers Grimm.
Oh, Brothers Grimm. That's
and that was Heath Ledger. Academy Award winner Heath Ledger. Man. 2 Brothers Grimm. That was the garbage. Van Helsing, also the garbage. You know what's funny is like I wanted to like Van Helsing so bad because it was like, yeah, they got Wolverine in it, right? And Kate Beckinsale too, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
She was in the
she was in Underworld.
Underworld.
I'm mistaking the people walking through doors for 2 hours movie.
They made a lot of those movies too.
Yeah, they did. But they went the way of like Resident Evil. But like Resident Evil, like they realized that they were just ridiculous, right? So like we're just gonna ramp up the just. But like Underworld were like they're like we're still super serious and super melodramatic and whatnot.
So I asked you this already, right? You've heard of the movie JCVD, but you haven't seen it.
Correct.
Okay, we need to do a watch along.
You know, I'll okay. Would that be fun? Is there good fighting in it? Is there any fighting? I
think you'll. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think you'll find it like very poignant.
Okay.
It's like an independent film made by someone that really liked Van Damme, and they did an accurate. And he plays himself. Like it's really well done.
Have you seen? There was an
Amazon
Amazon
makes fun
Prime,
of himself a lot,
and that's I love that. Right? Yeah. Like we shouldn't take life seriously. There was God, what was that damn show that was on Amazon Prime that was with him?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That was a little weird.
That was awesome, though.
Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Yeah.
I started watching that, and I remember liking it. I just, I'm really bad at following through on everything, so I never finished it. But that was in the light of a little bit more fun poking than
Yeah, it was
JCVD, right?
he's how do you get a secret agent in everywhere?
And you make him
you make him a movie star.
Yeah, like that was awesome. But so that's the thing is, right? Like
the acting was pretty cheesy though. Like,
but it's supposed to be cheesy, right? Like it's not. It's supposed to be. I mean, how do you?
Watch JCVD because they make fun of it, but it's really.
But he's okay. So here's the thing about that. In Jean-Claude Van Johnson, he's in on the joke.
Yes.
In JCVD, is he in on the joke?
It's more serious than that.
Okay,
It's more like.
all right.
But there's a acute self-awareness of
Okay,
everything. Let's put it that way.
That's fine.
Let's put it that way.
Cool. Rock on.
So, did you see the fights on Saturday?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Yes, we can talk about them a little bit.
So I only watched the pay-per-view. I didn't watch anything else.
That's fine.
Okay,
That's fine.
dude.
So let's start with the Reyes fight first, then we'll go to the main event.
It was a good fight. Man, okay, so
Once he connected with that one shot, man, his legs got all rubbery.
Dude,
would you have called it though? Or was it an
hell
early
no.
stoppage?
He hit him hard. I mean, that dude is, when they say heavy hands, that's like one of those things where he looks like he's like the juggernaut, right? Like it looks like it's moving in slow motion, or it's like the idea of like a freight train, where they always say
he looks like some Polish farmer, man. That
he looks like Gunjack.
That's like instead of using tractors, he's like, I don't need ox. I plow field.
But like he looks like he's moving in slow motion, right? Like. But here's the thing.
There's a lot of force behind those punches.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like he'll hurt you if he connects and you're blocking. He's like that. Like what is that when Crow Cop fought Gonzaga?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like a big dude, and like it doesn't matter if you're blocking or not. Like it's gonna hurt, right?
Sure.
But I tell you what though, man. Like you think okay? So just speaking about Reyes,
he lit up Reyes' side, man.
that's what, dude. His foot or the footprint on his side.
Yeah,
that was like horrendous. But here's the thing: is Blachowicz, whatever beat. If John Jones decided to unretire, he is gonna fucking annihilate that guy.
probably.
Right? Like,
I mean, there's going to be a point where we're going to keep saying that, and then John's just going to lose, and we're going to be like, "What?"
I mean, it was close last time, right? Like, because if you do the scorecards,
the fight with Reyes was close.
was very close.
Was very
extremely
close.
close. And maybe he took him lightly, right? I don't know whether he did or didn't. I can't speak for that. But
I think the issue with John is the fights don't seem that marketable to him at light heavyweight.
right,
Like if he fought Francis Ngannou, people would like lose their minds.
yes,
Even if he
yeah.
fought Stipe, they'd lose their minds. Right?
yes,
So I think from what fights are going to score him the most money, I mean, he'll get paid well, but he's going to get a pay-per-view cut, and he wants to do pay-per-view.
You think
buys.
he's just gonna be doing the thing like
wants
that
super fight.
GSP did, like which like I'll come back for this, and he fought and he won. Yeah, like that's.
I think he'll do that. I mean, I think he'll be more active. I think he's still going to be more active. He's not. I'm retired and I'm going to unretire 4 years later.
I forgot. But isn't
I
that
just
why
think
he
cleared
retired?
out his
Because he
division,
wanted
and there's
it.
no compelling fighters. Like we don't have Rampage, we don't have Rashad Evans anymore. We don't
Yeah.
have these characters. Like the light heavyweight division was the premier division. It was Chuck Liddell, Tito, Couture,
Yeah.
and then these other guys.
What would you say it is now? I say 85.
No, I don't think it's. I think it's 55 or 70.
Really?
Yeah. I think 55.
I would give 55 over 70.
Because you have Gaethje, you have Tony, you have Khabib, you have Conor,
Yeah.
you have Nate, you have Masvidal's 70.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, but probably 155 because I think the talent
I
pool
can't
is a
even.
little higher.
Who's the 70 champion right now?
Oh, it's Usman,
You're right. It is Usman.
because he beat Woodley,
He beat Woodley and he beat.
and then he defended against Covington,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
and Covington's coming after Masvidal. Smart. He wants to fight him in Miami.
He also wants to, like he does,
which is
he
great.
does it to make money, right? Like he's
going to
being
make
smart.
shit tons of money.
Oh my god!
He's
And
going
this
to
is
call
gonna
out
be,
all the Cubans.
Oh my god!
He's going to call out,
but they're Trump supporters, right? So like they're gonna.
He's still good. He's going to fracture them somehow. He's
my god! Like
he's going to fracture them somehow. So it'll be.
But so Blachowicz, whatever the hell his name.
All right. So
Good
main
fight.
event.
Good fight. I don't know what to even think about that. Okay, so who'd you have winning it in the first place? Like before
I
fight.
picked Izzy. Kind of going the way it went, honestly.
Yeah, like either was gonna stay on the outside. He was gonna.
I thought
move,
Izzy was going to use his
apart.
range.
Yep.
I was not expecting him to be as precise with his leg kicks because he just leg kicked the. Actually, it was kind of funny.
It was with like leg kick one. It looked bad because like he had the cupping.
He did cupping.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Are you inviting? Like, I mean, what's going on here? Like, let's just make the whole area."
Isn't the idea of cupping?
Was he like getting himself ready for the
prehab,
kicks?
right? Isn't it, or isn't it?
But he had cupping all on the back, on his like, on the back of his leg.
Yeah, like you see two on this capsule, and I was like, "Oh God, I can't believe that happened." And I'm like, "Oh wait, it's too perfectly round."
Yeah, so Izzy looked good with his kicks, and then he just kept wearing him down.
He fought Costa, right? Costa didn't pressure as much as I thought he was going to.
Everyone said he was going to pressure, but my feelings.
And he said, "Like, oh, right
how
off the
can
bat,
you pressure if the guy's going to jab you and use his range? Like, how do you pressure a guy who's
you Mike Tyson him, right? Like, you got to peekaboo and stay in the inside.
Okay,
and don't let him get the opportunity.
We're going to get in the pocket and do that. Yeah, he didn't do that. You're right.
No, he didn't. Right?
He didn't
he didn't even try. Like,
no, he didn't do that.
What I thought was funny was that he's got the black belt and he like.
Did you see the post he made afterwards? Mounted by a white belch.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, by a belch. He wrote about, and then #os. I'll tell you one thing: Izzy understands like
he gets
social media and the media.
Oh, yeah,
he gets, and I love like what he said afterwards, like all you media with the clickbait titles and all. Like he does understand it. He understands how the game's played.
He's in on the game. He's in on the joke,
So,
right? Like that's a big thing.
Have you seen the controversy about his right pectoral?
If I had not seen the controversy,
you still would have.
Of course, I knew to look for it at that point, right? Because I saw it 2 days later, or no, I saw it 1 day later. There's definitely some gynomastia going there. Right?
Here we go.
I mean, like
everyone's frantically going through research of past social media posts. Do you think that's a pectoral tear?
A pectoral tear?
Like, do you think he like tore his pec and that's why it looks like something because he's
looks like gyno?
Well, do you think there's like a gap in his muscle that's making it look like that?
I'd have to watch it again.
I'm saying that to be devil's advocate.
I saw one.
There's a picture of him where it looks like where he's just standing there after the fight, and it's like he's posing. It looks like a dude's chest,
and then
kind of like a very fit woman's nipple.
Yeah,
who works out,
and that's where I didn't even know what to look for. I didn't know which pec. I didn't know whatever. All I saw was a headline, and in an interview picture,
staring at guys.
And then I was like, it was a picture like this, right? And I was like, whoa, wait. Oh, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, they're USADA tested, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's all random. So, I mean, innocent until proven guilty.
I know, but it'll be something people will talk about.
Tainted supplements. Sure. Tainted supplements, right?
Wow. I don't
Horse
know.
meat. He looked good, though, man.
Oh, yeah. He looked good. He's exciting.
Yeah,
He's definitely on his way to doing what Anderson Silva did.
And he's got a good personality. He's got a likable personality for being arrogant too. Like he's not off-putting with it.
And I think that the biggest thing in his favor right now is he's actively seeking competition.
Yeah,
like he's bringing all comers, whether it was intentional or not. He's gotten the optics of him calling out Romero originally, and then going to Paulo Costa. It's like, oh, this guy's not ducking anyone. You know what I mean? Like he's going after the guys nobody wants to fight, sort of deal. So it's good. There's still characters out there. This guy that he just called out, that's fighting Whitaker. If he beats Whitaker, he actually beat Anderson Silva.
Who's he fighting?
Whitaker is fighting.
No, he's calling out a guy.
Cannonier.
Oh, Jacob Cannonier.
Yeah, who's fighting Whitaker right now. So if Whitaker wins,
Whitaker's former champ.
Yeah, so if he beats Whitaker, is he saying this guy's the next in line? I want to fight him.
That's what makes sense, right? Like
sure. So that's kind of, I don't know if that guy's as much of a character. I'm not saying, hey,
I don't know anything about him.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, he might be a good fighter. And that's the thing. Whether or not these guys are good or not, what helps a fighter's legacy is if he's had memorable fights with memorable opponents, right? So,
but those are two mutually exclusive things.
Correct.
I'd say too.
Correct.
Memorable fights versus memorable opponents are two completely different things.
I agree. They're both contributing. They can be the same, but they're also different.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes they can overlap.
Because you all remember,
and that doesn't
memorable, terrible fight.
Yeah, it was.
Right. Like, I mean,
but think about a lot of the reason people like hold GSP to such high regard is you think about the people he fought. They all had clout. Outside, obviously, you have BJ, Matt Hughes, right? Those two guys, those are legends.
Oh, John Finch.
But John Finch was a beast at the time. Thiago Alves was a beast at the time. Josh Koscheck was a beast at the time. Jake Shields was like, oh God, how's he going to deal with this jiu-jitsu guy, right? Then he got poked in the eye and he just jabbed him down. But all those guys, whether it was good on the UFC for promoting those people properly,
it was also just a good deep division too at the time.
Exactly. And my point is I don't know who's left in 185. Now we're getting guys that are probably talented, but no one knows.
That
don't have that. So I'm talking about promotion. I'm talking about promotion. I'm not talking anything about skill. There's a good chance that all the fighters now are just better on average than the fighters were back then, just because of the evolution of the sport.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the complete picture of, you can
entertainment,
fight, promotion and legacy and that sort of thing.
But then again, like
think about who Tito fought. People think of Tito as like a legend and Chuck Liddell
and Ken Shamrock,
but outside of fighting themselves, like I know that one of Chuck's big fights was against Bubba Lou, he was a big
fight too. Yeah.
He was a big deal at the time, but it was still like that. There was a much smaller sample. Like shit, dude, we had the heavyweights. Were Tim Sylvia and Frank Mir.
And Andre Arlovsky.
Those three. Yeah. That was those three. So everything's deeper now.
So that's the interesting thing, right? Like at this point too, the UFC is going to only market you so much. You know, a big part of it now, to the detriment of the legitimacy of the sport, right? There does come that self-promotion aspect to it. That's very important.
Masvidal made himself a star.
I mean, and fortunately for him, he also talks and walks.
And Colby is turning himself into a draw.
Yeah, exactly.
He's turning himself into a lightning rod.
Yeah, exactly. And
even though I still think he's a poor man's Chael Sonnen. I think Chael did it way better than he did.
But he's doing. But you know what though? I still want to watch that dude get his ass whooped. So it's working, right?
He's throwing the political slant, which is like. Was kind of like an obvious one at first.
But here's the problem. There's the two, right? Like Chael, and we might have talked about this. Chael was so good at it, like because the joke is in the level of exaggeration, right? Like when you're saying like this Nogueira brothers think that the Nogueira brothers think that a bus is a carrot. We know that he's just making that up. Right? He's like, I saw them walk out into the streets and he tried to feed a bus a carrot. Like, we know that he didn't do that. But like, which is fucking funny. Like, that's hilarious. But the Brazilian people didn't think that was very funny.
Yeah, well.
But Colby brings it a little bit too. He blurs the line a little bit too much between.
I don't think he talks as well as Chael. Like, he can't cut a promo like Chael can.
No, yeah.
So he just has to kind of like just tap in on just whatever.
Just like being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say shit that I know people don't like. Yeah,
like,
and I'm
instead of like.
But like, like
Chael could almost speak as well as The Rock. You know,
when Chael grabbed the mic from Joe Rogan, and they're like, Chael, how do you feel about your victory? And he just snatches the mic out of his hands and calls out Anderson. He's like, Anderson Silva, you absolutely suck.
Yeah, like that's.
I was like, we all lost it. We're all like, this is amazing. And he says, loser leave town, man. He went full pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But
we're all in the joke, right? Right now, Colby is still. He's the only one in the joke. That's the problem, and I think that's why he's.
I also think that Chael there were less people playing that game.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people are just like, okay, I'm going to go negative.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to go
fucking,
negative and
like guerrilla marketing at this point.
I'm just
right?
going to
Like,
go hard.
just-
So it's different. I mean, it's just there was not social media when Liddell was fighting, when Tito was fighting.
Tito would have been out of control, man. Jesus Christ.
Tito would have been posting pictures of Jenna McCarthy. Not Jenna McCarthy.
Jenna
Jameson.
Yeah, like you just mixed up Jenny McCarthy But he would have been bananas. Like he would have been, but you know what though? For his channels of marketing, he did an excellent job.
Oh yeah.
Right? So I mean, and I guarantee you if the Ultimate Fighter was still an actual show and let's say they had Masvidal on coaching one, and that would be dude. They'd be fighting.
Oh, him and Colby.
Yeah, and like Colby, I guarantee you would see Colby. Actually, John Sissio, my old training partner, helped corner Colby in a USA grappling tournament, and said he's the nicest dude ever. Something like I almost guarantee you that like the Tito side, when we got to see Tito as like a legitimate coach and actually
I know he became very I liked him.
Super likable, right?
Because they made Ken look like he was less into his team and helping
he's
them.
all about Ken, right? Like
Yeah.
at that point. And I guarantee you Colby would come across as a much more likable person.
If he wanted to.
I mean, like, what's he going to do that to his team, though?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? Because he still wants to win because he's probably a competitive guy.
Yeah. It was, those early Ultimate Fighters were good, man. Like the Jen Pulver, BJ Penn one was good.
Dude. You know, though, BJ was kind of a dick for holding
I know.
a little.
No, the BJ Penn, like I thought it made Jens look good as a coach. BJ didn't seem as into being a coach.
Right. I mean, because he's.
But that, by the way, that gave birth to the infamous Andy Wang.
Oh, God.
Andy Wang.
Oh, God, yeah.
The guy Dana White never could understand. Warrior spirit. I don't know how the guy's in real life. I just know what the reality show did to portray him. You know what I mean? If you don't know what we're talking about, look up Andy Wang Ultimate Fighter, and you're going to get some interesting video clips.
Oh, man. Who else was on the
The last good one was when Chael and John Jones and Uriah Hall was on it. And Uriah Hall was putting people to sleep.
Spinning hook that dude.
Yeah, and he put a guy out in the guard. Like he was scaring people because it was like he was touching people and they were going out. And even Dana was like, "Holy!" They had Dana White cursing and
so and that's why Chael came across as awesome, right? Like when you could see that he was truly invested in his team and all the showmanship and all that aside, and he was he was giving Uriah Hall actually after that fight like a pep talk, and he's pointing up to the thing at like Anderson Silva, and he's like, "Hey man, like you're not the next him. You're gonna beat him." Like I was like, man, like Chael's a good fucking dude.
Oh, and he gave these awesome analogy, like these awesome stories. Like the story of the plank. It was like there's a 2x8.
Is it
put
the
it
same
on the
one?
ground.
Is it the same one that fucking?
It's probably someone else.
That Danaher does also.
You walk across, across the
now
plank.
You just pick it
now
up
put it up on the rafters.
It's the same
and
plank.
It's the same thing. All this changes the situation. The environment.
It's the same
thing.
So
Chael became very. When it was done well, it worked. The thing was they overexposed it. Once they had Kimbo in there, it had nothing to do with Kimbo. I just remember that's when I just felt like.
Was that jumping the shark for them for you?
That was when I felt like it had nothing to do with Kimbo. I just felt that's where I was like, they're putting these out. It used to be something you looked forward to.
Yeah.
And then they overexposed it. They did too many of them too quickly.
Yeah.
It was like.
But that was just. I think that was just the international content, right? Because a lot of it was.
And then they were finding then it was getting divisions, they were running out of people. And now we're going to do 125, and we're like, huh? Who are these people? I remember, dude, back in the day, Jesse Taylor was Matt Riddle. These guys all made names for themselves.
Ben Saunders,
exactly.
Tom Lawler.
Nate Diaz.
All Orlando guys.
Yeah.
And actually the dude who won from Gracie Barra, right?
Jonathan
Jonathan Brookins.
Brookins.
But that was
Paul
also...
said he was the second generation guy.
But here's the thing about the Ultimate Fighter now versus then, too, which is why something like... I feel as though, the Tuesday Night Contender thing, or Dana White's Contender, whatever the fuck it's called, that's the evolution of that. Because I mean, do you remember season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter?
I started on season 3. I only
Oh my God! Did you ever watch season 1?
I watched bits of season 1.
I mean, season 1 was.
But it was awesome. You know, people had never seen how fighters are. So
but that's the thing is, a lot of those guys weren't even like fighters. I mean, some of them were fighters, and that's where like the talent pool was so shallow. And I think maybe they're trying to like real world road rules it too much.
Sure.
Where they were trying to bring in like fucking schmoes along with these fucking killers, which they were probably grooming to like be the winners, you know? But like that was also when the talent pool to choose from in the selection process was a lot more shallow. So like they had a lot less to work with. Whereas now you know, you can't do the Ultimate Fighter because it's like literally a house full of guys who can all whoop each other's ass and win at any given time, right? Which is why the Contender Series works, but like the Ultimate Fighter doesn't work as well.
I mean, I think the thing about the Ultimate Fighter that was good was it made stars because they got to feature personalities.
Yeah, it was basically the UFC countdown for an entire season,
exactly,
which was awesome.
Yeah, you got to see 8 to 10 weeks, so 8 to 10 episodes of time. Like think about a guy like Ryan Hall. They would interview every time you'd see Ryan Hall. You know, when they sit, when they in these reality shows, they sit in the room and they just talk to him. Like you would see people's personality, and that was whether they knew it or not promo time. So that's when you were like, I want to see this guy fight.
Yeah.
Like I got invested in this person. I got invested into Nate Diaz. I got invested into
building a character.
Yeah.
Right?
Like at the end of the day, like I've had this debate with people. Like the UFC, there are people, and I have friends that are like, dude, it's a martial art. It's who's better, respect this. But this is a promotion.
Right.
It's promoting. So is promoting the most lucrative fight that they can promote at a given time. Not the best fight, but the most lucrative fight.
Yeah.
So that's why you're going to have guys like Masvidal. And I'm not saying Masvidal's not a good fighter. He is a good fighter. Ideally, they're both. But that's why you're seeing the guys with personality, whether it's positive or generally more often than not, it's more negative attention drawn on them. They're the ones featured because they have a personality and it promotes the fight. Like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a great fighter.
Yeah, Stipe.
Stipe is a great fighter, right?
I mean, is it a compelling...
But we want to see John Jones because he just got caught with blow again and, maybe ran over someone and shot a gun off while he was driving.
Yeah, or went on a 40-hour bender field on Monster Energy drinks,
probably one of the best
Monster
fighters
truck.
in MMA walking on the planet too.
Yeah.
But Colby Covington's not the best fighter on the planet. No one would ever say that.
He's one of the best fighters on the planet.
Absolutely. All the guys in the UFC are in the top.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's like the NFL, right? Nobody there sucks.
Yeah, exactly. But guess who made more money than Colby did in his first MMA fight? CM Punk.
Did he?
Oh, dude, he made it.
Oh, in his first,
in his first MMA fight. Now, that's because at the end of the day, they saw like this guy bring. So if you have a person
that
can
can
bring
make the sport lose some integrity.
But that's the thing. The UFC is not a sport.
Absolutely it is. You're crazy.
MMA is the sport.
Okay, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
UFC.
Oh, I just made the mistake that I do UFC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
UFC is not a sport.
They're
a brand,
yes.
And they specialize in promoting
fights. They promote
They promote MMA fights.
So what do we so circling back a little bit, right? Just to touch your point. You said just the fact that people, good or bad, associate something like jiu-jitsu with MMA and that sort of thing, right? What is it going to take for jiu-jitsu?
What's it going to take for people to attend jiu-jitsu with hits tonight?
I don't know, man. I got zero response from me calling out the white belts, which I'm going to do
tonight. Jiu-jitsu with strikes. Everybody should come out.
They should. I mean,
all right, go back.
They're also hearing this 3 weeks down the line. I mean, still go. I mean, like, I want it to be on the calendar because I want to
get your time machine, travel back to this time,
and then do it. Otherwise, I guess I'm stuck doing kickboxing, which is fine too. That's cool. But so, do you think that jiu-jitsu or grappling, I think no-gi has a little bit more of that rock star type of quality where it could become like a fringe sport like the X Games. But like, do you think jiu-jitsu is relegated to becoming like judo in the Olympics, where it will never be like this sort of like bigger, like who the hell watches like fucking Olympic taekwondo, like, and I can even see, I was actually just circling back to my buddy Alan. I sent him a link to something. Have you seen Karate Combat?
Yes.
Have you? So it's cool. It's kind of,
that's the one where the ground is like curved.
I think it is.
Is Boss Rutan's involved?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, it's new, and it's like, and I because I'm trying to, I have these martial arts discussions with my buddy Alan, and I'm like, I think I got it, man. I think this is what you're looking for, right? Where you're still able to call it taekwondo, but it's kind of more alive. But the focus is more on kicking, and there's some recognition of like throws and stuff. And I sent him a link to that, and it's like, yeah, I think this is kind of it, Mm-hmm. But so like they're trying everything to make that cool, and it is cool. It's actually badass if you've watched it, like, or something like these sort of martial arts, MMA being the exception, because it's more marketed as a combat sport than a martial art. Will it always be relegated to these sort of like ESPN 8? Sort of sports? Like, I would love to. Obviously,
I think so.
You think so?
Just and I think a lot of it has to do with the gi, how it looks from an optics point of view.
Because it looks traditional martial art, right?
Yeah, it hides the person's body. It makes everyone kind of look the same.
Okay.
Right. And I know it sounds silly, but it's like you watch ADCC. Some guys have their shirts off. Some guys have branded. There's more individuality. People can express themselves.
Right.
And I think that, from an optics point of view, it lends itself to being a more marketable endeavor.
Okay.
Obviously, super fights like Fight to Win or Polaris, where, they have a walkout similar to an MMA fight.
There's something to do that too, right? Like
that certainly highlights the competitor better, right? And makes them look more individual. But I do think the gi actually plays a role in making everything kind of look the same.
Homogenous
from a spectator's point of view that's uninformed, right?
Yeah.
The issue with jiu-jitsu is the people that watch jiu-jitsu are people that do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and people that watch MMA don't always do MMA. Like, MMA has reached people that don't do MMA.
And what do you think was that point? Was it proper marketing? Was it? I mean, like,
in Dana White's history book, it's the Ultimate Fighter. Broke through. Everyone started watching, like, holy shit, look at this. This is awesome.
And Stephen Bonner, Forrest Griffin.
Forrest Griffin. Yeah, exactly. Like in his history book, that's how it goes. So
poor Kenny Florian and Diego Sanchez.
I know. Right?
For them, man. Right? Like, they were the original Ultimate Fighters too.
I know.
Oh, poor guys.
So I think that plays a role. I think obviously, like, right now, the guy who's running ADCC, Mo, whatever his name is, Mo.
And Chris Vu.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris Vu.
That's right.
I am helping.
They're going to do it in Vegas next year.
Again.
No. Last year they did it in California.
Yeah.
Now they're going to do it in Vegas.
Maybe this is what they needed, right? Like,
they're going to up the sizzle, the gaga. They're going to up that. And I think for that
it was good to watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. But I think it's easier for people to identify. It's more appealing to a casual to see two dudes that they can see, not two dudes that are wearing a gi.
Okay.
And also the gi is unlike what they've seen in the Ultimate Fighter. So the Ultimate Fighter, if they see like the Ultimate Fighter, the UFC, if they see like Spider Guard or lapel guard or something, they'll be wondering, like, what the fuck is going on? Whereas if you just see two guys clubbing the shit out of each other and trying to, then they'll be like, oh, or then they'll see a guy leg lock and be like, what just happened?
Yeah, but ADCC rules, man, I'm not sure it lends itself to the spectator as much. Because I think
it's more grappling. It's more catch wrestling. And they
is it though? Because, like, I mean, I can tell you right now, because I was trying to get through all of the major weight classes from eliminations, quarters, semis.
Okay.
Dude, a lot of them, I hate to say it, even as a grappler, not the most entertaining. And that's why
You're right.
judo's.
I mean,
that's
you're
why
right.
judo's had to do a lot of
everyone
like
was
rule
showing
changing.
the Gary Tonin
Exactly.
10-second entry, but a
These
lot of those
fucking
fights
crazy
were, a lot
ass
of those
like
fights
scrambles
were,
and stuff. How many of those?
well, a lot of those fights were methodical and stuff.
A lot
Go back
of
to
them
what I was
are-
saying at the beginning, right? It's like you watch
Yeah.
a. It's not as though they're not doing a lot. They are doing a lot.
Exactly. But
they're
who's
in a
willing to
mini
make
game.
it?
They're in a mini game that really outside of the competitors is not that interesting to look at.
It's not right because it's like.
And the coaches like, holy shit. Is he gonna get?
Yeah,
is he
yeah,
gonna
like-
get? Is he gonna get wrist control? Is he
But
gonna get
otherwise,
wrist
it's literally two guys in a collar tie.
yeah.
For
Or if you want to see something even more like silly to a bystander, imagine leg entanglements, where like two guys are just grabbing each other's feet, and they're not even trying to like get on top. They're just like they're like, what? Why are they tickling
but that's
each other?
not happening as much in ADCC.
No, I think the leg lock games has matured enough.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
You can't just do that.
No,
you
right,
can't
right.
just, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
you
I mean,
have
like
to do a
that's
clean
cool
entry.
though, because also now like so that's interesting because like the leg lock game, there aren't dudes like you don't wait around like you said. You kind of used the word settle earlier, right? Like you don't settle playing legs with people because you will get caught, but people do settle, and there's a ton of stalling with the whole guard passing thing. Like
Buchecha, Gordon Ryan. Did you see that?
I did. That was the one where he
got the one sweep, the
Yeah.
sumageshi shoulder crunch.
yeah
And then everyone at the next local tournament, everyone was doing sumageshi sweeps.
yeah.
And we'll do it.
Also, next
By the way,
next DVD coming out.
Next DVD, check it out. Sumageshi sweep.
Seated open guard,
Seated open guard.
attacking with the seated.
All
open
the
guard.
secrets
So
of what I applied at my most recent victory at ADCC.
But that's just it too. So I mean, I'm not sure ADCC rule set is the most enticing to get. But then now, are we watering down the sport? Like just the idea of judo, right? Because judo has become what it is today, with less niwaza. Actually, now extended niwaza groundwork.
Yeah.
But like things like no touching the legs, even like you can't even like brush their legs, otherwise you get like a shime, what the fuck is it called? But like the rules of judo have been modified so much since the 1960s and the 70s to today, with the idea of keeping it spectator friendly, right? So what do we strip away from jiu-jitsu to make it more spectator friendly, but still
You watch
help?
MMA.
Yeah, I guess, or combat jiu-jitsu. Or
I think you just watch MMA. I think that's the I think what's cool is the purest expression of martial arts is the most appealing.
yes. I mean, yeah.
Right? Wrestling's an Olympic sport. Judo's an Olympic sport. Jiu-jitsu could be an Olympic sport, especially in
I think
the
it
gi.
will be in our lifetime.
And MMA is like, that would never be in the Olympics. This is like fucking gladiators, It's also the purest expression of, does my martial art work? Like, this is, if it, what Paul's always said it. If Aikido, if some, or not even Aikido, if some, if Shidong Do,
America Dote.
yeah, if there was some technique, mystery technique that came from the East, or came from the West,
Sure.
or came from somewhere, and it was successful.
Everybody was doing it.
Exactly.
That's
Right?
what. Yeah.
It's in a way, it's like very, it's hyper competitive. Like you'll steal.
It's the truest scientific method.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a pressure cooker, right?
Yeah.
You want to see, does this hold up under pressure? That's why there's a lot of jujitsu, in a jujitsu sense, where we talk about, is it worth teaching a technique that's not going to work at the highest level against a good opponent? Like, is there a point in showing a white belt how to do this when in reality, yeah, it'll work now, but that's because the level of your opponents is low and they don't
Right.
know what certain things are. But that would never work. That's why Hodger Gracie's so great. Hodger Gracie does the fundamentals that apply.
Oh, you're going
at
to
the
get there.
highest
Breaking you down. Fundamentals, baby.
No, I'm all about the fundamentals.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, that's my approach going to this tournament, is do fundamentals.
Right,
know?
yeah, right. Like it's...
The only quasi-fancy thing might be like, we'll go into 50-50 if I feel comfortable, like, going into 50-50.
Yeah, but then he'll pull his foot across and be like, ref! Like...
Oh, yeah. Fuck, you're
right. You don't want to run that risk, man. Like, so I'm just saying, like, just be careful, because if you fucking pull your
reaper,
he'll be like, ref, and then he'll when he gets the DQ, when he strips his gi top off and. I said that at a Brazilian restaurant. I don't even know what it means. Apparently, it's like you don't say that, because like there's like a couple of Brazilian restaurants.
What?
Yeah. Like I was like, because like I'll always say like obrigado, just to like, and when I'm buying,
and you're like, porra, this is good.
And they're like, oh no, like. So I'm like, oh, is it that bad? I don't, or caralho, right?
Oh,
that's like motherfucker.
Caray.
That's like really bad, right? Like,
yeah, I think that's dick.
Is it?
But
Okay.
it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't.
But I'll tell you, when I hung out with friends, they were doing. So I guess like you don't say motherfucker, but we say motherfucker a lot.
All the time,
right?
That's funny.
Motherfucker over here.
I say that shit like it's. She's like, I don't even notice you cussing anymore. She's like, it's just a part of your vocabulary. Like that's your homeostasis.
Exactly.
But so. What's going on this week?
So this week it's today. So I trained hard at noon. I'll do another hour of hard training tonight here at 6 in a little bit. We'll have to start getting ready, get the body loose for that. And then Tuesday light, Wednesday hard, Thursday, Friday light, and Saturday go hard and then start tapering. So
nice.
Paul had a good idea. He says, let's take 2 days off, because normally I've been doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But he's like, let's go easy Thursday and Friday, because we used to do that, and we'd be like, shit, man, I feel worse at the end of this camp than I did at the very beginning. So give yourself another extra day to rest, so you have a little more energy going to that last training session. So
okay.
you feel you have basically you want to leave that. I mean, obviously you want to leave every training session positive, but you want to be on a good note, and the last thing you want to do is feel a little run down. So give yourself another extra day to rest, so you feel a little fresher. You go out hard on that last day before you start tapering, you know. So that's the plan. So more jiu-jitsu. And
have you been doing strength and conditioning?
I've been doing strength and conditioning 3 days a week. Lowered the weight, even lowered the reps, just explosive movements.
Oh, really?
Getting the blood flowing. I might do 2 this week. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I mean, like how much?
Yeah, and then after this, it's on the swole train, boy.
Are you?
I'm because I'm telling you, man, I'm going with these. I posted on Instagram. I was like, I'm sick of going with the 190 plus crowd and just feeling weak.
Just getting squished.
Just getting manipulated too much.
Yeah,
You're getting moved around too much. And I said, I want to make Victor look like a small child next to me.
It's funny now that I'm a little bit.
And then
heavier.
Victor looks at me. He's like, bro, what are you talking about? But I told Victor, I was like, bro, you're in the 130s. If you were 145, if you put on like 10 pounds on your frame, you know how scary that would be for everyone else?
Jose Aldo, man.
Dude, he would be Jose Aldo or like Sean Shirk. It would just be freaking. You'd be like, I can't move this guy. You know?
He'd be like a little, he wouldn't be the wet water balloon anymore.
Imagine Joey if he put on 10 pounds of muscle.
Joey's strong as he is.
Well, I know he is. I mean, he's not even
stronger.
No, but I'm saying is like low center of gravity.
Oh,
it does make a difference.
Puck. Yeah, like he's
exactly
it's amazing how like 8 to 10 pounds makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
And
well, did you see Galvao? He's in Miami already.
Oh, is he really?
He's in Miami. He just squatted 400 pounds.
He's doing that like 2 weeks before competition.
He's not competing.
Oh, he's not.
No,
he's not retired. I forgot.
He's not competing. I mean, we don't know if he's going to do ADCC this next year.
Was it ADCC every 2 years?
It's every 2 years, and he would do it against Gordon, right? That's the super fight that everyone wants to see. So he's been saying,
dude,
"Am I going to do it? Am I going to retire? Am I going to?" So he's been flirting with that. But Gi Jiu-Jitsu, he's there to coach, right? He'll be coaching his guys. So yeah, he's there at 400 pounds. I texted Paul. So who needs to lift for Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Right. Yeah.
And here's Galvao just. And of course, all his buddies are posting the
Jesus.
No, the gorilla emoji. Silverback.
Oh, yeah. Is it like Jesus? I'm like the Jesus? Like, make him strong?
So I definitely realized that, if I want to philosophically, if I want to compete, I don't want to worry about weight at all. But if I don't want to have to worry about weight at all, I need to be carrying a little more, just because on my frame. You know what I mean? Because it just seems I'm kind of tweening it right now, and ideally, I think 175. I think 178 probably is ideal. I say I want to be 180 just because I've never been 180. I think I've been 178 once in my life before.
Was that when you were?
That was when I was benching and stuff. I was benching.
Yeah.
But this year I got up to 175. I felt great at 175.
Really?
I felt really good. But I was able to eat. I was able to always have like carbs in my system, glycogen flowing,
Okay.
And it was good. So this is more like you have to be a little more scientific about it.
Right. Yeah. Like,
now, if I could cut weight, like if I could weigh in the day before, it's a different story. I would actually want to gain a little more weight, and then I would just sweat it out, go away, and then rehydrate like anybody else. So that's all. So yeah, man, just go through the experience and try to enjoy it. It did feel a little bit like work last week. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit, just because I had to be on. Like, instead of me just showing up saying this is what I want to work on, and in terms of intensity, we'll see how I feel. You know what I mean?
Now
like, exactly.
Purpose.
It doesn't matter who. Like, how before it's like you come into training. And then maybe you'll go and you start seeing guys walking like, it's a serious day to day. Like people start walking in the door. Ryan Wilkerson walks in, Zach walks in, Eli walks in, Mike walks. You're like, oh, okay, it's one of those days, And then the other days where you're like, you see the crowd and you're like, okay, just kind of flow. You know what I mean? Just kind of flow. This was like, doesn't matter. I have to go hard. On these days. So yeah, man. At the end of the day, I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed. I get to do this. Knock on wood. Body has held up. Some bumps and bruises, but nothing serious. So,
what's going to be your first meal post competition?
I don't know, man. Probably pizza or something.
Okay.
Something. Actually, probably a lot of beer.
Celebratory.
That's the hope, right?
Celebratory.
But I'm not a cake guy. Like, I'm not into like sweets like that. Like a lot of people are like, I'm gonna eat a fucking
you're not 10.
cheesecake. There are a lot of people that like eating cheesecake still. I'm
cheesecake good. I mean, like a celebratory beer might be more in order.
No,
perhaps I'll get you a Dogfish 120.
A couple celebratory. Because at that point, regardless of what happens, I'm gonna be so like tired and like
you're gonna sleep.
No. I'm gonna be replacing like water with alcohol.
Goodbye, liver. How do you tap to what is a liver submission? I guess that would be puking, right?
Yeah, man.
Let's get
we're gonna stretch out, get loose. Maybe we'll get a hard round with Chris Vu. We'll see.
Not today. No. Like legit. Like not today. I might not even roll. So like,
what happened?
Not this past Saturday.
Did you hurt yourself,
dude? So like, I realized I need to be more careful with my words. Right. We were working the failed Berimbolo to single leg 2 Saturdays ago.
Yeah.
Was last Saturday I trained.
Yeah.
And I was working with Tristan, and I was like, hey man, like, just try to regard a little bit on this. Oh, that needs to not be near electricity.
All right, we just spilled water.
We're okay.
I think we're good.
We're good. We're fine. But so
this is why you should always cap your water bottle.
Yeah, for sure, man.
What a doofus.
But it's okay. It's clean the floor. But I asked him. I was like, hey, can you like regard a little bit? And he
kicked you in the balls.
No, he kicked as like he did the snarling thing a little bit. And like fucking, the hand that you end up with the over under, the one with the under, he fucking jammed down on my shoulder. And since then, I've had this like burning pain, ranging from my posterior delt, radiating outside the outer head of my tricep, down my forearm.
Oh boy!
It's like, so it feels like hot and like pain.
All right, we will flow with today then.
And then my I haven't had feeling in my
don't talk about finger. You get numbness in your fingers.
I haven't felt these two fingers since the Saturday before last.
Oh,
so boy. Like I've been doping up quite a bit on some anti-inflammatories.
Oh boy!
But I was like, you know what? I'm like, just like. What's crazy is like, and I'm just stupid for doing this, but I've been working out like on the regular anyway, because I've not lost function. Right? It's just pain. So like I can still move my hands and stuff, but like there's just no feeling there. And just under the right conditions, this feels okay. It's just like there's like it wakes me up in the middle of the night when I roll onto my side.
Ooh, yeah.
So
yeah.
like that's a little. So I'm just gonna be very.
All right, guys, go for Kimuras on Chris's right arm.
I don't think that's what would do it. I think Americanas would be.
Okay, Americanas. There you go.
So,
key lock them. Key lock the shit out of them. You got your taps.
It was a yeah.
If you're up for belt promotion, go with Chris.
I'm gonna have to
and
go.
attack Americanas.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get that loose, and we'll protect
for sure.
it.
So
Thanks for
that's been my my issue for the past.
All right, guys. Well, listen, like, subscribe, share, leave comments.
Oh, your
We're
boys
here, BJJ and Brews, everywhere, social media, and we will catch you down the road.